All right, guys. You ready for reading time?
Yeah!
Yeah. Okay, so I picked out a special book today. Does anybody recognize this cover? Maybe? Well, we read this story at the beginning of the year, and we're going to reread it now. Do you remember, like, how do you say the title of this book? Do you remember?
Chrysanthemum?
Well, let's break it down. Let's sound it out. Okay, so say it with me. Chrysanthemum. Okay, now we can say it faster. Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum. Good job. Does everybody remember what a chrysanthemum is?
No.
It's a type of flower, and it looks a lot like this one that's on the cover here. And if you guys remember, the little mouse down here, her name is Chrysanthemum. So, we're going to reread it and see what you guys remember from last time. Alright. And we're going to do it in a special way. We're going to do what's called a shared reading. I'm going to share this story with you guys. And so, anytime in the book where there's a sticky note covering a word, if you guys see a pink sticky note, it means you guys are going to make a prediction of what it says. Do you guys know what a prediction is?
Guess.
Yeah, you're going to guess. Good job. And then sometimes I'm going to have you guys come up and use our little handy-dandy pointer and read the page with me. And then also, whenever there's rhyming words or repeating words, you remember what we learned yesterday about rhyming and repeating?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to say it along with me.
Okay.
All right. So, Chrysanthemum by Kevin Hanks. So who is Kevin Hanks?
The author.
What does that mean?
He wrote it.
Good job. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect. Do any of you guys have a younger sibling?
Me.
You do? Do you remember the day she was born?
No, because I was really little.
Really little? Yeah. Well, it's kind of like this.
I don't think I liked her as soon as I was born. She was born.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like her now?
Yeah, she's okay.
All right. Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. And we're going to, whenever there's a green line under a word, we're going to sound it out together.
Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew. Now, whenever there's an orange line, I'm going to ask you, why do you think the author made that text bigger?
Because he was saying she's really big.
Yeah, she's growing. She's getting older. So she grew. And when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum, here's a sticky note, what do you think she thought about her name? Did she like it? Did she not like it?
I think she liked it.
Loved it.
She loved it. So now we're going to uncover it. Chrysanthemum loved her name. What did she think about her name?
Loved.
She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She
Loved.
loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Okay, so when there's a purple underline, we're going to say it all together. It's
Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum.
Okay, in this group of words right here, what is the author doing to that word?
Repeating it.
Exactly. So the purple underlines mean it's being repeated, and we're going to say it together. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written with ink on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with orange crayon.
Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely
Perfect.
Good job. And then she started school. On the first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile. She ran all the way. Hooray, she said, Chrysanthemum. School. How many of you kids remember your first day of school?
I wore a Pooh Bear shirt.
You did?
Yeah, that was preschool.
That's funny. But when Mrs. Chud took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. How do you think Chrysanthemum feels in this picture?
She's sad.
Yeah, she's sad. Why do you think that is?
Because they're making fun of her for her name.
Yeah. Look at all the other kids.
Oh, happy.
Yeah. They have very short names. And Chrysanthemum's her name doesn't even fit on her name tag right down there. Poor Chrysanthemum. It's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on her name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. You're named after a... What is a chrysanthemum?
Flower?
It's a flower. You're named after a flower. Chrysanthemum wilted. What does wilted mean? Look at her in this picture. What is she?
Sad.
She wilted. What does a flower do when
It's sad. It falls over and it gets all brown.
Yeah. So that's called when a flower is wilting. When it's sad and dying, and she's just sad in this picture. So she's wilting like the flower. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely... What's the opposite of perfect?
Poor. Awful.
Dreadful. Those are good synonyms, you guys. The rest of the day, she was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chud that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. That's exactly half of the letters there are in the entire alphabet, Victoria explained. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chud. Now put your head down. I want you to go next to your partner and whisper how many letters are in your name.
8. I have more than you.
If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, said Victoria.
That's me.
As the students lined up to go home, I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Poor Chrysanthemum. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School's no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag. And I'm named after a flower. Oh, pish, said her mother. Your name is beautiful and precious and priceless and fascinating and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. Absolutely perfect, said her father. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup. Does that sound good to you guys?
No.
I eat that.
I eat
Sounds
just
kinda
macaroni
funny.
and cheese. No one eats it with ketchup.
I do.
And an evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi.
What's parcheesi?
It's like a board game. I hardly ever play that. Has anybody